welcome to Load Bearing Beams. I'm Matt Stokes.
I'm Lacey Roth.
Lacey,
Matt,
what is our podcast about?
Thank you for asking. Okay, so it's Load Bearing Beams. It's a movie from your distant past that you have a deep fondness for. One you haven't seen in a long time, but you default for the your default setting for the movie is that movie's good. Your significant other mentions they haven't seen it, and after you recover from the shock of this, you insist that they do. But is it any good? Was it worth holding a placeholder in your heart for all those years? And if you do discover that it is bad, in a month, if someone mentions the movie again, do you default again to, oh, that movie's good? If you do, that is a huge indicator that this is a load-bearing beam, and it's essential to the structure of you.
I don't think I have any of those.
Yeah, you're emotionally perfect. You're more logical. You know that I watched something and then an hour later I only know what it felt like to watch it, not any of the details.
My emotional attachment is to getting to say the thing that you think is good is bad. That's what I have an emotional attachment to. If you took, that's my load bearing beam.
Explain.
Is telling people actually that thing you love from when you were a kid, it sucks, or actually the thing.
You're saying your load bearing beam is when we get shitty on this podcast?
Is being a snob.
Oh yeah.
You can't take that. Like that's the only thing that I feel like you can't.
Your load bearing beam is never having had a bad one. All your beams are pristine beams until today.
It's not true.
It's not fucking true.
We've watched some bad movies.
Boy, have we.
That I've recommended, and even if they're not bad, like I would like for you to like stuff. It really, really bothered me that I could accept that you didn't like Star Wars, but I was like, oh, but Empire Strikes Back, that's an impeccable movie, unimpeachable. And then we watched it, and you're like, yeah, just not for me. And I'm like, whoa. And suddenly I understood why people turn into alt-right trolls, because I wanted to become one on you. We're different. We're different people. My emotional attachment again is to this weird thing where I have internalized totally every movie review ever written by Roger Ebert,
right,
and by Leonard Maltin. So it's been difficult for me to think about things. It's been difficult for me to think about movies in the construct of the podcast that we invented, that I took fully part in creating.
Question.
Yeah.
Would that be analogous? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
To having read a manual on how to build a house before constructing it? Or are you saying that you started your construction and then started reading a lot of manuals so you get to correct what you were doing wrong and the majority of your beams are totally fine?
Is your question...
I'm asking, is that why you have less problems with your movie structure?
I think I had a normal movie upbringing until I was about 15, and then I started getting into film.
I love that you picked the age 15. We're going to circle back.
Okay. I became a serious cinephile, you understand? But I enjoyed, so I bought Leonard Maltin's movie guide, which was a freaking 1-paragraph long review of every movie ever made. He didn't write them all. He had a team of writers, but he would just give a 1 to 4-star review of everything. And I enjoyed when I would look up a movie that I grew up loving and saw that he hated it. It was like, wow, he gave Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze a bomb. I loved that movie 5 years ago. I guess it sucks, and I've never seen it again since. So, but since I've internalized all those reviews, it's easy for me, or it's hard for me to separate what I learned as a teenager from what I felt when I was younger than that. But I did realize that Leonard Maltin and Roger Ebert are not the extent of movie critics and of movie opinions, and that there's tons of adults, mainly men, on the internet who fucking love the Turtles and love these movies. So this is an unusual pick for me to pick Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze.
Very.
Because it's definitely the youngest movie I picked, the movie that I...
The most distance
liked. Yes, the most distance traveled.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not like I went into this thinking if this is not good, I'm going to stab myself in the heart with a katana.
That'd be hard.
Because I knew that Leonard Maltin and Roger Ebert didn't like it. But I also sort of wanted them to be wrong. So I don't know.
When are times that they were wrong? Give me 2.
They're wrong all the time.
Well, fuck off. Sorry I asked.
I mean...
I'm just saying, when have you had that gratifying...
Leonard Maltin never gave 4-star reviews to any modern day movies, but he gave 4 stars to The Cider House Rules, which is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I don't. Roger Ebert loved Crash.
Yeah, I can't eat that. Didn't even leave an impression.
Like, he is responsible for it winning Best Picture. He championed
Right, it was like a whole thing. And I
and
remember
his thing
seeing
was
it
like,
going, what?
I bet you think this black character is a hoodlum, but actually he's a nice man. What? Racism. Seriously, go read his review is ridiculous.
Okay.
I implore you all to read Roger Ebert's review of Crash. So as a 32-year-old man, I'm trying to kind of extricate
32?
myself. I'm 32.
I'm never going to remember your age.
From all these internalized movie reviews from these two critics, these two old white male critics, and try to open myself up. Maybe there's some value in a Turtles movie.
I'm just picturing those two guys in the opera scenes of all the Muppet action.
Yeah, Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would.
There you go.
There we go. My point here is, if it's hard to picture a Matt saying that, you should just picture a Muppet. And I'm saying that because Muppets are in this movie
as Muppets. Yeah, that's another thing. Is like, I knew this movie had Muppets. Like, that's
okay,
good.
They're not really Muppets. What makes them a Muppet? Not a
well,
puppet?
no, they're not Muppets, but they're created by Jim Henson's Creature Shop, and they're very very sophisticated puppets.
Very, but unsettling, right? Like, I don't know what I would have wanted
in a great way.
The mouths on the turtles. It's like if a Barbie had a vagina and it was talking to you. It's so smooth, and there's no imperfections. It's a turtle and it's a puppet, but it should have something going on with it.
It does. I mean,
There's
it has
no texture.
I disagree. I think it looks very textured.
Have
they have the weird spots, the weird, what are they called?
Freckles.
Oh, freckles. I was trying to come up with something more like cancerous, but they have like those freckles. They look very textured.
You were thinking liver spots, and that's not.
That's what I was thinking. Thank you.
And that's an age thing. It's not a cancer thing.
Let me just say.
Mm-hmm. Did we say the movie?
We're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, a 1991 film. You've all seen it. You all owned it on VHS. And this is the second one. This is the one with where they live in a subway station and there's ooze. I think I definitely remember liking this movie more than the first one. It's a lot more lighthearted. Also, a lot more lighthearted than Part 3, where they travel back in time to feudal Japan and become samurai.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't remember many of the details of this movie, but it is one of those things where once it's on, suddenly like, oh yeah, oh that, okay, yes, I'm remembering so many like beats where get it, got it, good, I don't got it, like, and suddenly I think, oh, that's where this is from. It's from this.
It made up that.
I'm not saying it made up that. I'm saying somewhere in my mind that sort of exchange is lodged, or just that beat, and I see it, and suddenly I'm like, that's where it comes from in my brain. I'm not saying it's the literal origin of the universe.
Totally.
Did you have any attachment to the Ninja Turtles?
Not at all. Fucking not at all.
As a child, no.
I'm sure it was in my Saturday morning cartoon rotation, only because I would have had to watch it. And I don't really remember cartoons I loved. He-Man, but that would have been a long time
ago. Oh, really?
It's just what was on.
Right. See, I don't think I was huge into the Ninja Turtles. I definitely like dressed as them for Halloween.
Right, they're very visual.
But I don't remember the cartoon show. I just remember these movies, these 3 movies that I owned on VHS, and I watched these a lot.
I remember sheets.
Yeah.
Having the turtles on.
But I know that they're much bigger for other people my age, and maybe like a little older. Maybe I'm like, if I were 1 year older, I would have been more into it.
What is there to attach to? 1 year older?
Yeah.
How old you would have been, like 5?
Well, because let's say the cartoon series started in 1987, so 87 to 92 is its heyday, and I'm like 5 years old by that time. So, like, you're a few years older than me, and you're always pointing out you have so much more accumulated experience, and where it rears its head is in like I didn't grow up in a Turtles world. And
you didn't come online until you were 5, so everything before then doesn't count.
Right. I watched a bunch of like videos of the history of the Ninja Turtles to prepare for this, and these are like very sincere men in their 40s giving just very detailed breakdowns of the history of this series and how and clearly these people are emotionally attached.
Is it an attachment to the comic book as well, or is it the cartoon series?
So it seems like it's to all of it. And the way that the Ninja Turtles started was as an independent comic book drawn in black and white that these two guys, Kevin Eastman and something Laird, self-published themselves, and it became a sort of cult sensation. And then a toy company said, we got to make toys out of this, but we're not confident we can sell enough toys just from your black and white comic book. We need to make a TV show. And the TV show is
call it a color comic
along with the toys are where it took off and exploded as a merchandising phenomenon. Also in the original comic book, they all have the same color bandana.
I was thinking like this is when you put different colored shoes on your quadruplets because even you can't tell them apart.
Sure.
I mean, obviously that's what it's for, but
yeah.
And you can't sell 4 toys if they all have the same bandana.
The cartoon and the toys also added, the first initial to the belt of each turtle, so that you could tell who was who. Now, so that spawned the cartoon series, and then in 1990, the first movie comes out. It's an independently financed movie.
How they had time to make another one in just 1 year, I don't know.
Made on a very small budget, and for a long time it held the record of most profitable independent film of all time. Because the thing was made for $13 million and it made $200 million.
That's crazy.
And then this one was less successful, but again, for people like me, it was a VHS classic. But, I was more into the things that came after Ninja Turtles, like Power Rangers. Like, I remember Power Rangers very well. I was very invested in that.
And I was a little too old to like them, so I had to be like, just stupid, keep it on. Man, is that scoot over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think if we put our 9-year-old in front of Power Rangers, she would be into it?
Didn't you like the movie?
Yeah, but I mean that was the recent
she's
movie.
Too smart for it. I hope she is. I mean, when you look at the show, was very dumb.
The recent movie
was very Ninja Turtle.
Was made for a modern audience, but if you put her in front of the 90s TV shows, which were imported footage from Japan that were then mixed in with American actors for the non-action sequences.
Saved by the Bell, but with costumes.
Uh-huh.
That's how poorly, and I love.
But you
Saved
think
by the
she's
Bell.
too smart for it?
I hope so.
I think this is going to be one of the most controversial episodes we've ever had.
Well, fuck.
People are getting so angry hearing stuff like this. Like, Power Rangers is stupid. But again, you can find just as many videos by intelligent and eloquent people online talking about how important Power Rangers is.
I don't think Power Rangers are stupid. I think the show was poorly written. I don't think anyone gave a shit about what kids actually... I think they felt as long as it's colorful and action-y, kids are going to like it, and we didn't have any options, so we did. I haven't seen a lot of live-action kid shows now because Macy's still just never gotten into that.
Yeah.
I mean, I might not ever see them, but from what I can tell, those look really stupid, too. Maybe just higher production value. I don't know.
Every, Disney Channel sitcom is so off-putting looking. Like, the ones about, a little rich kid who's, lives on a cruise or lives in a hotel.
Don't know.
No?
Dunstan Checks In? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about Dunstan Checks In, the television show. So this film, what do we do?
Film.
What do we do about this movie? I'll tell you this.
Tell me.
For about 3 or 4 minutes as the movie opens, I seriously thought to myself, is this the most perfect movie opening ever?
What?
I thought it was
Non-stop pantyhose heads just coming at you?
Before then.
What was before? Oh,
this
yeah, the
thumping
pizza
80s
opening.
music with everybody just joyously eating pizza wherever you go.
I did
and
like
then
that.
Kino, the martial arts expert pizza deliveryman.
Fat shame someone?
I'd say right up until the fat shaming, I was like, this, wow, I love the font on screen. I love the music. I love the looks of 1990s New York.
Wow. It was
This is peak 80s, even though it's 1991.
It had a very Beverly Hills Cop sound to it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know.
I know what Beverly Hills Cop sounds like.
Fine.
And it's so joyous and I'm like, wow, maybe this movie is going to be great because this is some great energy.
It was quite the intro.
And I'll say this as well.
Okay.
I will say this as well. This is a really bad movie.
Fucking
I did not enjoy it. However, there's a lot of good stuff about it.
What?
And I feel like with a few minor adjustments, this could
Who
be a
is
really
paying
good
you?
movie.
But you're out of your fucking... Okay, yeah, well, let's replace all the turtles with things that are interesting, and then replace the little sidekick kid with a guy I can like, and then maybe April with someone I could picture talking to and not wanting to punch right in the face. And the rat, let's just kill him. Let's not make him alive at all. And the bad guys, maybe believable, maybe just...
No, this does not have to be believable.
It's something I could actually get mad
This
at.
has
These
a really
guys
good-
are adorable.
Which is, I think that's the point. I think that this
Well,
movie
yeah.
is a really good execution of a vision of a sort of tone where nothing is
yeah.
really dangerous. Everything's a little
At all.
bouncy and fun and, I hate this fucking word, but sugar high-y, like, and sort of manic teenage boy energy, which, again, I hate teenage boys. But I think this is a good execution of that sort of tone.
Yes, it struck a very video game tone where there's an endless supply of faceless bad guys who can fall over with one punch.
Mm-hmm. Where villains won't even attack you, like they'll
Wait their turn.
they'll wait their turn, or if you stop to make a joke at them, they're gonna stop and listen. I don't know, it's charming-ish, but the characters' personalities are so off-putting. But I don't feel like you would have to change very much to make them not off-putting.
Well,
I don't know what.
Putting any thought at all into their one-liners. Like, if they're going to be not deep characters who don't talk a lot, fine, but, like, try to make it funny. Were they trying?
I think they were. Like, you keep saying put some thought into it. I watched a, like, sort of making of, and, like, it seemed like a ton of care went into making this movie.
Well, that's a real shame. And they really stole their own thunder by having someone excellent in martial arts be this, like, stand-in kid delivery pizza boy guy. It was like watching Keanu Reeves do his action sequences, which are so fast, so amazing, so fluid, that it ruins it for any other actor who really works their ass off to try and do their own action.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to think of another example, but anyone who's trained for a fight scene, I can't believe anything that's not Keanu Reeves. And that's how this kid made me feel. His fighting was amazing.
And
the turtles look like, no!
This kid is Kino, who actually was under the costume of Donatello in the first movie, and they thought he was so good we need to take him out of a costume.
Those costumes?
So the way it works is there's people in the body wearing the costumes, and then the heads, like the basically the face,
So
is operated remotely by a puppeteer.
Okay.
With like a radio signal that's another. The puppetry is so good. This all looks so good.
After you get over how completely disturbing it is, the craftsmanship is good, obviously.
I just love seeing just everything is tactile. Everything was in front of the camera.
Okay, but I mean, clearly Jim Henson spent all of his time on the turtles and the rat, and then like, oh, what? You need a snapping turtle and a wolf?
He was dead. He didn't work on this movie. It was his company.
That's what you said.
It was his company.
Oh.
But he died. This movie actually opens with in
that explains.
loving memory of Jim Henson.
Yeah, I know, but I thought that was added later.
So they put all their energy into the turtles and Splinter and.
Yeah, I didn't find they were like real second tier. The wolf and the snapping turtle.
Oh, I don't agree.
Oh, you're so.
I think they look
I
amazing.
like the pointy parts of the snapping turtle, but the wolf looked fucking crazy. And why in the hell, if you're going to put ooze on something and they're going to equally, why do they stop at a certain height? Why the hell is the snapping turtle the same height as the fucking wolf? They would not be in real life. The wolf should be bigger and scarier.
You ask the hard questions. Yeah, the wolf is definitely not scary enough. That's the worst looking one because it looks too much like a stuffed animal.
Yeah.
And
right,
too rubbery.
And a permanent smile. Like
yeah.
The smile was very Big Bad Wolf with like saliva coming out.
But they were not going for scary. In this behind the scenes thing I watched, the producer of the movie was very open about how they got some criticism from parents because the first movie was too violent. Okay. I don't remember the first movie, but I do sort of remember it being a lot darker in tone. Maybe it's sort of got like a Batman Returns to Batman Forever and Batman and Robin sort of thing.
Yeah.
Let's make it a lot lighter. And they pointedly, the turtles do not use their weapons in part 2. They have them, but they only use them like once a piece. Whereas like if you're a kid, you're like, Leonardo's got the swords. Like that's the defining feature. And in this movie, they never ever use them.
Not many things can be used on a movie that make me want to instantly imitate the way that nunchucks do. Like, as soon as I see someone play with a set of those, I'm just like, I'm going to go try that now. So I could definitely, you can't pass a pair of those up and not just see if you know how to do it.
I couldn't disagree more. Like, I would
just looked
never
like you
want to
could
do
it. So I could see that would be an issue for parents, having little boys getting all hyped up seeing that and then just trying to fucking use a broom and use a...
Yeah, I remember my brother injured a boy at Indian Guides, at an Indian Guides meeting. The kid who was hosting
Guides meeting.
Like a companion thing to the companion to the Cub Scouts program or something.
You guys couldn't make
where you dress as Indians.
Oh fuck! Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, no troubles there about about. There were not conversations about cultural appropriation back then. It was just fine and fun. And my name was Brave Rainbow. And
did you name yourself?
Sure.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I was really into rainbows at the time.
I know.
My brother came along with me to a meeting, and the house where it was being hosted had a pair of nunchucks, and my brother took them and swung them around and hit another boy in the head and injured him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like you could do it.
So they pointedly take them away in this movie.
Okay, but then it's still a fighting movie, so
but they like
just weird.
Fight with yo-yos and rubber clowns and stuff.
At best, the humor in this movie touched on like a Three Stooges kind of quality, but where it was most of the time was like Paw Patrol level.
Yeah.
I'm blue and brown and pink and green.
And sort of like placeholder, we'll think of more specific Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle joke to put in later. Like, they use a lot of surfer lingo. So let's try and... Yes?
That's a great point. I just would like to point out that all four of the turtles were raised by Splinter in the sewer, sheltered. Except for one sounds like he was raised by Joey Bag of Donuts, and the other one sounds like he's raised by Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm walking here. Totally did. Righteous.
Yeah, he did not grow up in California.
What? Either of them. The other, I mean, even the heavy, thick New York accent isn't earned. Sorry, earned. Where is it from? Splinter doesn't talk like that.
No.
How much conversation are they hearing down in the sewer?
And where do they get their pizza from?
Oh, I thought that thing was because that's something that gets thrown in the sewer. I mean, not by you.
But it always looks like they have a fresh box of pizza.
Well, in the movies, but I think the origin is that it was stuff that they could find on the street.
Okay.
I'm just saying that. I have no idea what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense. I mean it.
No.
People leave pizza and I used to throw away pizza all the time before I met you.
You're a monster.
I know. But who's going to feed the turtles?
The humor's grating. It is very off-putting and abrasive, and it's the thing that is wrong about the movie.
I have a whole theory.
Okay, you can go ahead.
You go ahead.
Well,
you really should.
I'm sure that my enjoyment, because again, I said there's a lot that is good about this movie, even though I think it's a really, really bad movie.
What did you enjoy?
Know. I love how tactile it is. I love how small scale it is, how physical it is, how there's only a few sets. I love the aesthetic. I love that it takes place in garbage dumps and
I do like that.
Abandoned subways and
the subway is by far the thing I liked the most. The idea of setting up a home inside of something weird appealed to me greatly as a kid. That would be why Swiss Family Robinson was one of my favorite movies. Like, oh, I'll just make a home here.
Yeah. Which you love to do.
I like to nest.
But you also like to move.
Yes.
I like to do both.
Yeah.
So, like, we've lived in this house for 5 years, and I feel your agitation.
Well, that's why I want to freaking convert the garage. I need to move downstairs.
You need to tear something.
In 2 years, I can move upstairs.
Put something new.
And then maybe on top, maybe one of those Rubbermaid, like, shed things from Office Depot. Or we'll build a pool house.
So that is what I like. I just like all these aesthetics, and I don't know if it's because it's just tapping into a nostalgic part of my brain that remembers this.
If Macy were stuck on this movie and you'd never seen, there's no way you would tolerate it. I mean,
I don't tolerate it. I think it's bad.
All right.
But I think that there's things that our kids watch that I hate watching, but still think are cool. Like, I think there's a lot of cool things about the Cars movies.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like them.
Right.
And it's when you contrast it with everything that comes out today, where everything is made on a computer,
Okay.
and everything has huge stakes.
How about this? How about if you contrast it against everything that came out around it? It's a fucking shame. This piece of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it came out in 1991, and by the way, it's listed as number 49 on the all-time best kids movies of the 90s and 80s. That's fucking bullshit. They must not have made
that
very
list?
by a listicle.
Okay.
And okay, so you've got Little Monsters, 1989.
I hate that movie.
So much better than this fucking movie.
Probably.
1992, you got Three Ninjas. I remember that being decent. I'll bet it's awful though. Home Alone, 1990. Addams Family, 91 and 93.
Don't know it.
The Addams Family?
That's something we need to talk about on the show, right?
Oh fuck yeah, no.
People think Addams Family Values is better, don't they?
I do. Yeah.
I think that's a universally held.
Well, then I'm with
Well, maybe
the
let's do
universe.
that as the next episode.
Okay. 1992, The Mighty Ducks. 1993, Free Willy. There's more.
These are all bad movies.
1993, Sandlot. Ghostbusters 2. Problem Child. Harry and the Hendersons. Beethoven. Hook. The Sandlot. I already said Sandlot. Princess Bride. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And Back to the Future. And Problem Child. Those are all fucking way better than this.
Well, one, you just wait. You just went way further back in time than.
No, I only went
Back
as
to the Future,
far,
1985.
I only went back to Back to the Future 2. I only
Okay.
went back as far as 87. That's the furthest I went back, and the
I would
furthest
say-
I went up is 93.
I'd say you named 3 good movies. This is just a bad time for kids movies.
Dude.
And this is a bad movie. I'm not saying it's a good movie.
Well, and I mean, and when you look at all these movies, a lot of these I was thinking this is a kids movie because they're like the problem. Certain movies just have such a negative tone to them that they don't. I mean, this one's a lighthearted, fluffy piece of nothing, so I could get in the way that I liked the other movies I vouched for because they didn't make me feel bad about myself or didn't make me think heavily about the world. Okay, yeah, because these other movies are kind of heavy.
Wait, I've never seen Problem Child. My impression
Oh.
of it was it's an R-rated horror movie, like Chucky or something.
No. It's just a fucked up kid who's annoying.
Oh, but
We
he doesn't
should
kill
watch.
anybody.
That's one of mine.
He doesn't kill anybody.
No,
Oh, I thought he was the killer.
there's no killer. No.
I thought Problem Child was the killer. I thought he was like a Child's Play
He
sort
just
of.
has red hair, and that's not his fault.
Oh,
We should watch it. I wonder if they're still good. I love what's his nose, the guy from Three's Company. I love him. I can't
John
think of his
Ritter?
name. Yeah.
so your point was that much better movies came out at this time?
Yes, I'm just saying like you didn't have 0 options.
Yeah, I know.
All right then. Addams Family. How with the crap you were watching? How'd you let that squeak by?
I don't know. I remember seeing some of it, and there being a scene where a kid smokes,
Yeah.
and that was really
Pugsley?
off-putting to me.
Oh, okay.
It's like, oh, that's bad. That's really bad.
Got it.
I was just the mention of cigarettes or cigars when I was a kid,
Instant cancer.
really freaked me out.
Yeah. Dare did a good job.
What else you got on your notes?
Well, I've got my metaphor. I've got my overarching metaphor for this movie and why it appeals to men of a certain age.
Go ahead.
Because the entire thing is just a metaphor for puberty, and I can prove that because they are 15, which you couldn't pick an age better to put yourself in the most awkward transitional period. By 16 is when you get to drive a car by yourself. So anything before that, you're a kid. So being 15 fucking sucks because you're still thought of as a baby by grown-up people, and you're too big to play with little kids when you're 15. What do you do with yourself? You start looking for the meaning of life. So what you do? Let's see. All right. Donatello's little B story is like, what does it all mean? Where did I come from? Is it special? And it's literally about where you came from, dude. Is that you went into a puddle of shit and you went from little to big, which is exactly what happens when you go to puberty. A switch comes on and everything's awkward and weird.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
That's the other really big problem with this movie is nothing gets developed from a story standpoint. You have that sort of
Seems
really
like they're
half-assed.
going to, yeah.
Where did I come from? And then
You
it's like,
came
came from
from the
Ooze, who
ooze.
cares? And then that's it. That's the end of that storyline. You have the storyline where Kino's going to infiltrate the Foot Clan, and he does. Oh my god, he's going to succeed, but then they find out 1 second later, and then that storyline's abandoned.
1 second later, like, oh, I was hanging out with a turtle. Now they know.
So
Why
that-
did you bring the turtle?
Right.
On your first fucking
And he just sort of
infiltration?
lightly crouches down behind a car. There's like
They escaped to
5
the sewer by
things.
lightly crouching down behind the car. An entire group of them, just want to say.
And
That's
they
how
could easily
escaped.
just go down into the sewer too and follow them, but they
No,
don't.
but the big turtle got stuck.
Well, they could pull him out
He's big.
and then go in.
Took time.
But that happens like 5 times. Oh, so
Okay.
sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. Let's see. They have yearning to do things that adults can do, like leave the house, but they're not ready. They're not allowed to go out without supervision, but that's all under the guise of, you guys are fucking mutant turtles. They won't understand. No, you're too young to handle yourselves in public. April is a stand-in for how they still need a mother, but they're flirting with the idea of also wanting a girlfriend one day, so she's like oddly both, and it's weird. It's because she's playing both because they're having to struggle with both. They have the ability to do adult things, martial arts, but they don't do it nearly as well as they think they do, and they don't do it responsibly. They don't make the best of that's, sex. Let's see. Okay, the name of the fucking movie, The Secret of the Ooze. That's just semen, and the secret is when you use it, you grow a turtle, or you grow a person, or maybe when you're 15 and you finally have like porn in front of you and you go, that's it? Like this whole time I've been waiting to understand what the fuck sex was or what it feels like or whatever, and it's just a big bummer after you find out. I think so, because it's built up. I mean, I guess it depends on when you first do that as a boy. When do boys do that?
When do boys have sex?
It's all over the place, right? I'm just saying.
Wait, hold on.
It's like a huge deal in your brain, and then you do it, and you're like, ugh, thought it was going to be like something more interesting.
I have no idea because I was definitely not a boy. I was a man.
And was it like mind-blowing?
I don't want to talk about
All
it.
right. One with me. But, all right, I'm just saying, the secret of the ooze. Could they have come up with a word that sounded more like jizz?
I will just say that ooze played a big... Maybe this doesn't contradict what you're saying. Ooze plays a big part in the Turtles mythology. It's there from the beginning. It's the thing that transforms them into big mutant ninja turtles.
And the whole entire comic book, everything, it's all about transitioning from a boy to a man. They don't even have revealed private parts. Their costumes are designed, I mean, it's supposed to be, like a turtle stomach on their front. This makes sense, except for the crack goes all the way down into a V shape, giving them camel toe. So they're literally walking around with vaginas.
Yeah.
And at the very least, they're walking around with a hard shell that doesn't allow them erection.
No.
So they're in this weird... They're not superheroes. They're fucking, they're controlled by a rat who, by the way, grew up at the exact same time as they did. So why is he 500 years older?
Because he was already a mature
old
rat, and they were baby turtles.
Okay, so
because he learned karate and martial arts by watching his master do it. Before he was mutated, he was still smart enough to learn martial arts.
Because everyone knows that watching something means you can do it.
Yeah, well, his master would train in front of him, and he would copy what his master was doing.
That sounds adorable.
I know. And there's a scene in the first movie where they show that, and I looked it up, and it was just as adorable as I remember. Little rat doing it.
Oh.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Your metaphor is beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you think that what you're describing sounds more like a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old prepubescent
No, this is why 15 is so frustrating. You do not get any of the respect that you should get, or that you feel like you should, but even if you did, if you got the ability to do whatever you wanted, you'd make a stupid choice because you're still a fucking kid. It's the cusp age.
No, 15,
no.
You're already...
Okay, we've been watching Home a lot, right?
The movie Home.
Yes, and Tip... That is the only age they could have made her. She's 15, and that's because she's got a driver's permit, which is why she drives shitty, but she's allowed to drive.
Let me clarify.
It's old enough for her to be left home alone for 2 weeks, and young enough for her to say things like, I'm just a kid.
I'm sorry.
What is your point?
Boys. I think 15-year-old boys are angry and hormonal. Whereas the energy of this movie is like an 11-year-old boy who wants to pizza and party, and maybe is kind of interested in...
Maybe.
in sex, but like also really put off by it, is kind of like going through a growth spurt, but the brain is so far behind what the body is like suddenly they're really tall and awkward.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Whereas
I guess
15,
it's earlier. What, 15 you're a fucking man?
You like you're.
What were you doing
kinda.
at 15?
I looked.
Going to the
I looked exactly the same between age 15 and age 19. I looked exactly the same.
I don't know if you're the right.
I think most boys look the same between 15 and 19. But
okay, but your privileges are vastly different
Yeah.
than 50. So what good is it to have a man's body by 15 and not get to do any of the manly things with it? I'm talking about the frustration of being a true in-between transitional age.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying that you win. The manic energy is, I think, much more 11-year-old than 15-year-old.
That also fits my
shit?
metaphor. The pace of this movie is so fucking frustrating because they are bouncing off the walls way too hyper annoying. Then they get into some kind of sequence where I'm like, fine, I can put up with this energy. And then Splinter needs them all to goddamn sit down and talk real low and listen. And I think that must be what it feels like for any kid. Playing. Now you have to be calm. Okay, right now we're going to sit down. It's time to eat lunch. Playing. And now we're going to be calm.
Which
because
is...
now it's time to sit down and we're going to have lunch. That proves your point more, but you're not making
one
a
of the
fucking
things
10-year-old take a
that's
nap.
kind of charming. I kind of like
It's
that they have
charming!
to. I like that they have to keep sitting down and taking lessons.
I like the flips. I'll say that's the only thing I like.
And then doing flips. Couple things, interesting things. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic was created as a sort of response and a parody of the really dark comics of the early 80s, in particular Daredevil. And it's an unacknowledged or unofficial spin-off of Daredevil. The car accident that turns blind attorney Matt Murdock into Daredevil, well, he's walking and a car hits him, and then he gets radiated by some ooze. And this comic presupposes that same canister also radiates some baby turtles that were there at the same time. And then Daredevil's mentor is a man named Stick.
Okay.
And so the turtles is Splinter.
The Stick, yeah.
And
okay,
Daredevil fights the hand. Wait, the hand? Yeah.
And
they fight the foot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I don't know.
There you
go. There you go.
And I mean, the tone of the good and evil stuff, I mean, it's super ripoff of Star Wars, right? I mean, Splinter is ridiculous. Not Splinter. Shredder. Oh, he shreds the sticks. Okay.
Well,
he's ridiculous.
Okay.
They're like, oh, his face. He's got 2 cuts.
Yeah.
What are they talking about?
I know.
Oh, his face. It's covered up like you can't even see it.
When you're a kid, you don't know. You don't know that
that he's got a voice thing in his thingy, and that's
when they say his face is gross, you're like, well, I guess it's a gross face. I was scared of him when I was a kid.
Well, yeah.
You know,
Mama?
You're certainly, I mean, yeah, it's all very Star Wars-esque, but Star Wars is like every sort of archetypical
okay, but he's
hero's
got the
journey.
I mean, he's got the voice changed thing, and then the rat's like a Muppet with a coat on. I mean, with his
He's wearing a samurai armor, but Darth Vader was also based on a samurai character from the Hidden Fortress, Japanese samurai movie. And
anyway,
Star Wars and
just
Turtles were both influenced by Japanese myths.
Fine, they can do it too then.
One final thing.
Oh.
Do you know, and I don't know the answer to this, do you know when the concept, when do you think the word ninja became widely known in America?
I fucking no idea.
And is it because of the Ninja Turtles?
I highly doubt it. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
You think I would know?
You just said you did some research.
I didn't do that.
Oh.
Research.
I was trying
to
find out. I was just trying to find out because suddenly ninjas were everywhere. Beverly Hills Ninja.
3 ninjas.
3 ninjas.
Sidekicks. Ninja Turtles.
The karate. Well, the karate. But an interest in martial arts really took off.
I looked that up too, and there's not as many martial arts movies as you would think. I mean, it just seems like there's a lot, but that's because it's a very specific thing. You could say, you know, how many movies are around restaurants, and you'd find the same amount. It's not like a crazy amount.
So you don't think the data would bear out that there were no martial arts movies for a long time, and then suddenly a lot?
No, yeah, because I thought that was true too, and I looked, and it's that not for kids anyway.
Huh.
I feel like there was a ninja boom, but it was just 2 movies. 2 or 3. 3. It depends on how many years count as a... I would say something, covering a 2-year span, enough to see a movie and go, I want to make one, and then make it into the next year.
Mm-hmm. This was definitely a trendsetter for like Saturday morning cartoons in that so many imitators came along. The mutated animal cartoons, the biker mice from Mars, the street sharks.
Oh, the BMM.
Yeah.
Street sharks?
Yeah.
You're saying these things like you had any idea of them before you researched it today.
I was a big biker mice from Mars
You're
fan.
so full of shit.
No,
That's
I'm
not
not.
a thing.
I actually watched it. I liked it more than the Ninja Turtles.
I've never heard of it.
Whereas the Turtles like pizza, the biker mice from Mars loved root beer and hot dogs.
Seems like you'd...
I think they also had a female human companion. But they were giant mice, and they biked. And they had antennae on their heads.
Wow.
I don't remember Street Sharks. But no, I promise you, I loved this show.
Okay.
So, it's your face red.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this movie sucks. I apologize.
We didn't make them watch it.
I apologize to you, Lacey.
It was the hardest thing you've made me watch so far. I think even worse than Beavis and Butthead.
I was about to say worse than Beavis and Butthead. Yeah. It's so hard to watch a movie with you like this because, like, I hate this movie too, but I'm feeling you're 6 inches away from me.
I cannot believe we were fucking doing it. Every minute that we were spending, I felt myself getting closer to the death, and then wondering, why did I spend this time doing this?
Because you're like, there's only so many minutes in the day, and we're doing this.
Yeah, and I wanted to watch.
Still be watching this.
We're watching Better Call Saul, and it's great.
We could be watching that.
And
instead, we're watching The Secret of the Ooze.
Oh my fuck! And after 10 minutes of it, I was like, I get it.
Mm-hmm. And after 10 minutes, I was like, wow, is this a great movie? Because after the high of that opening, I was riding high. I was like, this is we're cooking with gas right here. Yeah, once the turtles show up, I'm not so crazy. But hey, as long as they're not on screen, I really do like them. Okay. So there you have it. Skip this one.
Why?
Skip this movie. Don't watch this movie.
But listen to the podcast.
I will just say
it's too late.
that I'm sure the hardcore fans of the Turtles would say, like, well, those movies didn't really get the real spirit of the cartoon and the comic down. It's much more gritty and real and violent and for adults. It didn't have anything to do with fucking kids.
It had to do with jizzing.
And ooze and
kicking.
Weapons.
And if I could jizz when I kick, then that would be awesome.
And on that note, subscribe to our shit, please.
Yeah.
Load Bearing Pod on Twitter.
Follow us on Facebook or like us or whatever it is that you do with that.
Load Bearing Memes on Instagram.
Share something with your friends.
Oh, and I forgot to mention this last time, but our friend Wade re-recorded our theme song.
You did mention that last time.
I did?
Yeah.
I don't think I did.
You did.
Well, thanks again to Wade.
Thank you.
For doing that. And with that, we'll be back.
Okay, love you. Bye.
3, 4. Everybody, love me.